Peace. What's going on, y'all? Give y'all a chance to tap in and tune in to your boy, man, before I start building on the topic for today. Hopefully, y'all enjoying this Monday thus far, man. Enjoying the beginning of the week. Hopefully, you got your weekly goals in order. You got a plan to execute and tackle those goals, man, and just accomplish everything that you need to accomplish for the week. So hopefully you all out here, man, manifesting and just being productive and getting things done. Because that's crucial, man. That's what we need to be doing, man. We need to be focused on building that legacy. So give y'all a chance to tune in and tap into your boy. The Monty Magic Piece, what's going on with you? Eli, what's going on with you, my brother? How y'all living? How y'all feeling? The Monty Magic is all good about that falling off, man, as long as you get back up and go harder. So it's all good. It's all good. Y'all know the cliche. It ain't about, getting knocked down. It's about how you get back up with it. So we know how I go. We talked about life throwing those punches yesterday, man. So it's all good. Nikki Peace, what's going on with you, Queen? How you living? How you feeling? Nick, what's going on with you? Eli Smooth, no, I haven't heard of both of those. I may have heard the concept, just didn't hear the name. Like I probably heard somebody describe it or define it. I just don't know it by name. Master Tool, Peace, what's going on? But man, we in activation mode right now. Andrew, Peace, what's going on? We in activation mode right now. Activation. Most definitely, Andrew. Like I said, man, we in activation mode, man. We focusing on activating that greatness, activating that righteousness. That's right within your DNA. Because a lot of times we tend to focus on when you hear people talk about the things that run in their families, for the most part, it's something of a negative nature. It's a disease, it's an ailment, it's an illness. That's when you hear people talk about what runs in their family. So you've heard it. Diabetes runs in my family. Obesity runs in my family. Bipolar disorder, it runs in my family. Those are the type of things that we say tend to run in our family. But you don't hear about the healthy things, the healthy characteristics, the healthy traits that also run in our families. Righteousness is something that runs in your family. When you trace it back down, when you trace your lineage, you're going to find out that righteousness, royalty, greatness also runs in your family. Health is something that runs in our family. We got to stop claiming this negativity. We got to stop claiming disease before it actually happens to us. And that's what happens when we tend to say certain things run in our family that's of a destructive nature. So when you start saying things like diabetes is something that runs in my family, now you are accepting that reality for yourself. It's plenty of people that's in your family that are not diabetic. Focus on those individuals. Don't become a victim to that. See, they want you to become a victim to that type of mentality. They want you to believe that these things just run in your family and it's nothing that you can do about it. As we have said, that just loads the gun. Your lifestyle pulls the trigger. But just outside of that, man, what about the positive things that run in your family? Like I said, I don't hear a lot of people broadcasting that. What are some good things or some great things that run in your family? We got people in our families that have great personalities, great character traits, and we have a lot of them. So we need to broadcast that. Dominique, Peace, what's going on with you? So like I said, man, righteousness is definitely something that exists within our DNA. It's definitely something that runs in our family. And all we have to do is just activate that righteousness that's within the DNA. All of this type of stuff that I'm talking about in regards to just health, righteousness, greatness, power, all of that exists within that DNA. You just got to focus on activating it. Evan King, most definitely. And a lot of people, they don't understand basically what it means to be righteous. Now, when I talk about righteousness, what do I mean in regards to righteousness? Righteousness, when they say if you know better, you will do better. Well, righteousness involves one acting according to that reality. So when you know better, you definitely do better. And if you didn't know better, you learn from that experience. So the next time you indulge in that act, you're going to take the lesson from what happened to you the last time, and you're going to implement it. So that's what righteousness is, man. When you know better, you do better. If you know you're not supposed to be consuming that particular type of food, you're not going to consume it. And if you do consume it, you're going to hold yourself accountable for the consequences that come with indulging in that particular type of food. So that's what being righteous means. It deals with accountability. It deals with acting according to what you know is right and what you know is wrong. Rude Boy, peace, what's going on with you? Conscious Cutlass, peace, what's going on? Tristan, peace, what's going on with you? How y'all living? Master 2, people focus on the negative. Like I said, for the most part now, people tend to focus on the negative because of programming. Especially black people, man. Especially black people. We tend to overly focus on the negative due to programming, due to trauma, and a bunch of things of that nature, man. But we have to reprogram ourselves. That's the only way to change that. But a lot of the reason why we tend to overly focus on the negative and the bad things is because, like I said, we programmed to do so. And then the trauma that we have experienced throughout life, that causes us to overly focus on that, on the negativity, on the bad. Because that bad, that negativity, it has all the momentum. It has all the momentum in the world. So it's easy to focus on the bad. It's easy to focus on the negative. And then it's easy to make an excuse as to why you are focusing on that negative, as to why you are doing that bad, as to why you are doing that negative. It's easy to try to rationalize it in your head. Rude Boy, oh no, listen, righteousness don't involve not having weapons and not defending yourself. No, sir. So you definitely, in this day and age, you definitely have to have some weaponry on you. Righteousness is all about, hey, if somebody strike me, I'm going to defend myself, man. If I feel like somebody is a threat to my family and myself, then we got to deal with them according to that. Again, righteousness is telling you, you do what's right. You stray away from what's wrong. So if I feel like it's right to defend my turf, which it is, defend my universe, then if you pose a threat to my universe and my overall health and well-being and my existence, then I got to deal with you according to that. That's justice. That's justice. So we got to supply our own justice. So that's justice. So we got to hand out that justice, that penalty or that reward. That's all that justice is. Justice is a penalty or a reward. So we can deal with that just on the individual level. So if you come to me, and like I said, if you pose a threat to my existence, to my life, and to my universe, then I got to deal with you according to that. I got to serve you that justice, which would be that penalty. So the penalty in regards to you posing a threat to my existence is going to be me defending myself. And that may result in your death. That may result in you being harmed, whatever the case may be. But that's justice. So we don't have to, hey, sometimes we can't be relying on the government to supply us with justice. You got to take that justice into your own hands. You got to hand out the penalty on your own time, on your own dime. That's how we got to do that, and that's righteous. That's definitely righteous. Sir Charles, appreciate the donation. Oh, Evan King, most definitely. And Plant God, definitely. Gotta unlearn, then relearn. Now, Eli Smooth, now, again, with being righteous, again, now, if it's not causing harm to other people, like I said, if the people not posing a threat to your existence and you just going out here inflicting harm on other people, no, sir, that's not righteous. That's not good at all. But like I said, if somebody is posing a threat to your existence, to your life, to your family, and you respond according to that, you react according to that in regards to defending yourself, then that's righteous. That's righteous. Then I'm going to go out on another limb because I don't fool with people that touch children nor rape women. So if you see that and you act like, if you see that and then you act according to that knowledge, like, man, that's not cool. They touching this child, they raping this woman, and you act according to that, and you supply them with justice. Then again, that's acceptable. That's righteous to me, because you shouldn't be touching babies, man. You shouldn't be raping the women. So if somebody catches someone doing that, and they act according to that knowledge, and they do something, they serve that justice, I'm all cool with that. I'm cool with that 100%. Sweet Tea, peace. What's going on? Oh, rude boy. That Martin and Malcolm, they definitely had their differences in regards to the perspective. But like I said, Martin was actually He was actually about to change his whole perspective and his whole approach right before he got killed, which is one of the reasons why he truly got killed, because he was about to change his whole approach, his whole perspective, his whole mentality was changing. But I'm more so in alignment with Malcolm and his approach toward everything. Khalid Muhammad, Malcolm, like I'm more toward that approach. The Black Panthers, like that's the approach that I fool with. And Eli Smooth, when it comes to righteousness basically being a perspective, like I said, we got universal things that we can all agree upon that are just incorrect, that are just wrong. Like I said, you a grown man and you touching children. You inflicting harm on children. We can all agree that that's wrong. There's no reason for you to ever do that. Raping a woman. These ain't the primitive days. We know the savages that used to indulge in that type of activity. We can all agree that that's incorrect, that that's a savage way of life. So those are things that we can agree upon. And then just going out here just killing people for no reason whatsoever, we can all agree that that's also bad. So we have universal things. This is one of the reasons why, this is one of the arguments that I'd had in regards to like religious people when they tell you that you need religion to basically tell you what's right from wrong. Now, naturally, we know certain things are right and we know certain things are wrong. Hence, the things that I named. You seeing somebody touching a child sexually, you know in your mind that there is nothing acceptable about that. That person is twisted. That person is wicked. So we got universal laws in regards to certain things that we know that are right, certain things that we know that are wrong. And we don't need a religion to tell us that. It's just certain things that you just know shouldn't be done, that's not acceptable. So we got to act according to that universal knowledge. Andrew, yeah, PTSD, man, is real. And PTSD is real on a bunch of different levels. Yeah, D Monty Magic. Setting and then we can get on a level like that. We can get on a deeper level, like setting the next generation up to fail. That's definitely not righteous. Miseducating your children, that's definitely not righteous. I'm gonna go out on a limb. People not gonna like this, but lying to your kids in regards to these holidays, that's not righteous to me. That's not righteous. That's not righteous, man. Tell the kids, tell the babies the truth. So it's not righteous to lie to these kids about these holidays. That's not righteous. Dominique, most definitely. Eli, man, I used to study reptilians and stuff way back in the day. I'm not into it like that now. I'm not really into it like I was back in the day. Again, once we understand the true nature of the beast that we dealing with, like I don't even have to deal with things like reptilians and draconians and stuff like that, man. We already know the true nature of the beast. They wicked by nature, they savage by nature. That's all I pretty much need to know. So now I know the type of beast that we dealing with once I understand its true nature. And that true nature is of a wicked nature, of a savage nature. That's all I need. That's all I need. So then I'm going to act according to that. And that's another thing too. That's another thing too in regards to just being righteous, man. It's just basically understanding the system that we are in, understanding the true enemy, understanding what's really going on, and acting according to that understanding, to that knowledge. It's not righteous. It's definitely not righteous. It's foolish. It's not righteous to think that by me hooping and hollering to a man that's wicked by nature, or hooping and hollering at a man that's wicked by nature, is going to change his nature. Nothing is righteous about that. That's foolish. That's foolish and that's ignorant. Oh, Nikki, most definitely. It's like, man, just tell the kids the truth. Like, ain't no white man coming down no chimney bringing y'all these gifts. This is me. This is mother, father. We supplying you these gifts. Ain't no need to lie. I'm not even saying don't even celebrate it, man, but just tell them the truth. Tell them the truth about the day. Tell them the truth, the real reason why you actually celebrating it. Or why people celebrate it in this particular region, man. Just let them know the truth, man. Don't be telling them these fairy tales, man. Don't do that. Because then when they grow up and realize and find out the truth, then they're going to be disappointed in you because you lied to them. Like the tooth fairy and all that type of stuff, man. All that type of stuff is nonsense, man. We need to quit whitewashing the minds of our children. All of these holidays for real have wicked origins. And we need to supply them with the truth, man. We need to really supply the babies with the truth. Every time that we lie to these children, man, we just continue in the cycle. We continue in the cycle. Because there's no justification in regards to lying to these kids, man. There's no justification. No justification. The underdog mentality, most definitely, I can agree with that. Eli Smooth, nah, they not the only invincible like people that I subscribe to are us, the original people of the planet Earth. It don't get more invincible than us. We are the closest thing that you will get to an invincible people. I mean, that's it. And we not even invincible. We gonna be the closest thing that you will get to that. And then another day that really grinds my gears in regards to why we even celebrate it. Like, for the life of me, I don't understand why we continue to entertain like Halloween. Like, I don't understand Halloween and why that continues to be entertained to this day. Like, that day, that specific day, really, I don't get that. I really don't understand that one. That's like the unhealthiest day in the world, man. Like, not only are we lying to these children about that day, then we tell them to go out here and get all this candy that's just setting them up for all type of conditions. Yeah, playing God, and that's all that it is. That's all that it is. It's your culture, it's your upbringing, it's your environment. That's the only reason why we really subscribe to any of these holidays for real. Zucko, peace, what's going on? Nikki Monique, it's a bunch of different theories in regards to the truth about Thanksgiving, but basically they say when the pilgrims slaughtered the Indians, then they had a feast to celebrate the slaughter. So that's one of the stories in regards to the origin of Thanksgiving, and that's all I need. I don't need to celebrate nothing like that. That day has nothing to do with a black person. Yeah, it's nothing for me to celebrate on Thanksgiving. But that's one of the stories, man. When the pilgrims came over, slaughtered the Indians, then they had a feast to celebrate the slaughter and things of that nature. Why am I celebrating something like that? Why am I celebrating something like that? Why am I celebrating the slaughter of a people that are closer to my pigmentation? By the people that has been my enemy or the enemy of my people since as long as they have been on this planet. Yeah, Dominique, it ain't nothing. Like, I can't really understand any holiday. But if you just want to celebrate Thanksgiving, woo, 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 and Christmas, whatever. But, man, Halloween really serves no type of purpose, man. It's just no reason for that day to even exist. And for the most part, you got the overly religious people that celebrate that day. I said this is the one day that totally goes against your religion. Now, all the other days go against your religion as well. And we got Bible verses to back that type of stuff up. But Halloween is definitely a day that a religious person should not be celebrating. And then I mentioned in a previous video about Christmas being condemned, basically the Christmas tree being condemned in the Bible. So if you want to find that Bible verse, it's like Jeremiah 10:3. So once y'all got some downtime, read Jeremiah 10:3 in the Bible, and you're going to see why Christmas should not be celebrated by any religious person. And they are the main ones that celebrate it. But when you read Jeremiah 10:3, it's going to let you know that Christmas should be off limits in reference to the Christmas tree. So you should not be celebrating Christmas if you are a religious person, if you subscribe to the Bible. Jeremiah 10:3 lets you know Christmas should be off limits. It should not be celebrated. So whenever y'all got some time, do the knowledge to that particular Bible verse, and y'all gonna see what I'm talking about. Yeah, D Monty Magic, and that's exactly. You ain't gonna see anything. You ain't gonna see anything that's positive, anything that's so-called righteous on Halloween. You gonna see killers. You gonna see Michael Myers. You gonna see Jason. You gonna see Freddy Krueger. You gonna see the Candy Man. You gonna see things like that on Halloween. Andrew, basically the qualities that come with a righteous person. Honesty is big. Like, honesty is big when it comes to righteousness. Just be honest. Be honest with yourself. That's real big in regards to a righteous person. Honesty. Someone that tells the truth. Someone that tells the truth. Another thing, another quality or characteristic of a righteous person, accountability. Someone that's righteous, they not gonna blame everybody for their position in life. They're not gonna blame everybody else for their circumstances in life. They gonna look to self. They gonna hold themselves accountable for their position in life. Anything that happens to that particular person, they gonna find the answer within self in regards to why that happened. They gonna hold themselves accountable for everything that happens to them. So honesty, holding yourself accountable. And then someone that's always focused on elevation, just focused on self-improvement, always striving to be the best version of themselves. That's also another characteristic of a righteous person. Always striving for self-improvement, always striving to better yourself. Whether it's eating right, exercising, thinking the right thoughts, those are qualities of a righteous person. Again, like I said, if you know better, you do better type deal. So once you come into the knowledge in regards to, I need to eat this particular type of way, or I know this food is destructive, then you got to act according to that knowledge. You got to act according to that knowledge. That's what a righteous person would do. And then when you don't act according to that knowledge, like I said, it's accountability. That righteous person gonna hold themselves accountable for their action or lack thereof. Beautiful Goddess Keys, peace, what's going on with you? Static saying, what's going on with you? So yeah, righteousness, man, we gotta deal with honesty. And like I said, man, just as adults, we gotta start in regards to we gotta start with the things that we tell these children. Gotta stop lying to them. Like the brother mentioned, Christopher Columbus got a holiday. One idea that I had in mind was we should take all the days, like black people, we should take all of the days of like a lot of popular black figures, and we should celebrate those days. We should stop going into these corporations. If you work for corporate America, you should take Malcolm X, his born day, take that day off. Marcus Garvey, his born day, take that day off. That's a holiday. Huey Newton, his born day, take that day off. That's a holiday. Hell, Tupac, his born day, that's a holiday. Like, we need to start celebrating our figures, and we need to stop relying on this system to acknowledge our people. Like, forget that, man. They don't have the right to be telling us who we gonna celebrate. Give us the MLK Day. Tell us we gonna have it. Nah, man, forget all that. We don't need them to tell us that. We can do that stuff ourselves. We can control that narrative. So on Malcolm X born day, I ain't finna go work for corporate America, and then I'm gonna buy black. This is the idea I had. I had this a long time ago. So just think about it. If on every day like that, every popular black figure, if on their born day, every year, we didn't go to corporate America, we didn't go to our corporate jobs, and then we bought black that entire day. Just imagine what that'll do. Malcolm X born day, all right, I ain't going in today, it's a holiday, it's a black holiday, and then I'm gonna buy black, I'm gonna support some black people today. Like, we got a lot of popular figures, so that'll work wonders for us. But that's one idea that I had. We need to celebrate our people. We need to stop looking at this white man's calendar and say, well, why they don't have Malcolm X Day on there? Why they not acknowledging Marcus Garvey? Why they not acknowledging Huey Newton? Because they not gonna do it. They not finna give us these days. We know that. We know it. We know how I go. And then they give us that week February, and then they only talk about the same people. So in February, they talk about Martin Luther King. They talk about Rosa Parks. They may talk about Harriet Tubman a little bit. Then they may throw in some Frederick Douglass or something in there. That's the type of stuff that they talk about. You would think that was the only history that we had. Every February, when I was in school, I swear to you, every February was the same thing, same story. I don't know if y'all remember. I don't know the age difference that I'm dealing with, but back when I was in school, man, we used to literally watch the same. It was like a Martin Luther King cartoon. We used to watch that cartoon every February. It was like a Martin Luther King cartoon. I forgot the name of that joint, but we used to watch that joint every February. Every Black History Month, we watching that same Martin Luther King Jr. cartoon, as if that's our only history. I didn't start learning about the Black Panthers and Malcolm X and the Nation of Islam and Marcus Garvey until I started doing my own studying. So I'm like, how do we have a whole month and you don't learn about these basic figures? Like, these are people that they should incorporate in that month, but they don't. These are some known Black figures in America. But when we get a whole month, they don't even talk about them. So of course they're not gonna dig deeper than them. Like you don't even hear about Emmett Till, that whole story. Like, man, it's a bunch of Medgar Evers, Eldridge Cleaver. Like, it's a bunch of people that they just leave out, man. Just, my goodness. February is like a waste. They might as well eliminate that. They might as well eliminate Black History Month, man. I don't even want that. I don't even want it. Yeah, Dizzy, that's it. My friend Martin, man, we used to watch that so much, man. I got tired of that joint. Yeah, Plant God, and that's another thing. It's a book on that called $1 Million Slave. That's basically what these athletes are. Now, a lot of athletes not gonna like that, but that's basically what an athlete is. They are $1 million slaves. It's a whole book on that. K Reno did a song about that, but that's what they are, $1 million slaves. That's exactly what they are. So these athletes, you don't have no Muhammad Ali's these days. You don't have that. You don't have it. Muhammad Ali was a rare breed. You don't have too many Muhammad Ali's out here. But for the most part, you're dealing with $1 million slaves. Because at the end of the day, with some of the power that they have financially, like everything should just be different. But it's not. Because like I've said, they are $1 million slaves. Period. Period. Everybody got a price. Their price is $1 million. Oh yeah, Nick. Now of course you're gonna have some decent Black teachers that come onto the scene, man, and try to teach the truth, but we already know how that's gonna go. They're not gonna last long. They're not gonna last long. D. Monty Magic, that's crazy. The Gull Award presentation wasn't school appropriate. Wow. Wow. Rude Boy Don Dada, most definitely. Lindell, peace, what's going on with you? Oh yeah, Dominique Tupac, that man, Illuminati Day. I mean, that's just a day. That's something that I celebrate. I celebrate that. I celebrate that. And we need to do that, man. We got the power to do that. It's like we always waiting on this system to do things for us. They need to give us these days. No, we need to give ourselves these days. Big Todd TRK, what's going on? JB Too Real. You know what's crazy? The thing about gangbangers that you mentioned, the crazy thing about that, a lot of homeboys, man, that I grew up with, they subscribe to that life. The crazy thing about the gangbangers, though, I have better conversations with the so-called gangbangers, with the street dudes, than I have with other conscious brothers and sisters. Though the dudes that's out here in the streets, a lot of them are they actually willing to listen to what you have to say. They know that the lifestyle that they are living is not necessarily productive, but they feel like they forced to live that type of lifestyle. So for the most part, when you talking to these brothers in the streets and you actually show them another way, a lot of them are open to that. Not all of them, but a lot of them are open to that. You just got to communicate to them. You just got to build with them. You got to build with them, man. But I've had a lot of good conversations with these brothers in the streets. I start having problems when I try to talk to other conscious brothers and sisters that think they know everything. It's harder for me to come together with them. I can go find about 5 or 10 dudes off the streets right now, and they'll be ready to go. They'll be ready to change their life. I try to go connect with another conscious brother or another conscious sister, and I may get a lot of backlash. That's the problem I tend to walk into. So I don't have a problem with some of these streets dudes. We just got to stay consistent in regards to talking to them. We can't give up on them, just like we wouldn't want anybody to give up on us. So that's the thing that happens when it comes to these street dudes. Because again, you got to think about it. It's almost like trying to change the way that you're eating. If you used to eating a certain type of way and you've been eating that way for 20, 25 years, then you're not just going to change when you come across a piece of information that's telling you the way that you're eating is destructive. It's going to be a process. You got to embrace the process. Same with the brothers that's out here in the streets. They not just going to change the moment that you say something, like say what you're doing, and tell them what they doing is negative or destructive. They not just going to change off the strength of that, even if they are listening to what you're saying. It's repetition. You got to stay on that brother. You got to really stay on that brother. You got to stay on that sister. You got to stay on that person that's involved with the streets. That's the thing. That's where we tend to fail. We don't stay on those brothers that's out here in the streets. So everything is a process, man. So you got to be willing to stay committed to that brother that's out in the street in regards to helping him see the light, helping him transition and get out of that lifestyle. So that's what we got to do. Matter of fact, one piece of advice that I got from a business owner before I got into business for myself, he said one thing he does, he said he keep a couple of those gangsters, as he call them, on his payroll, and he keep them out of trouble. And he gave me that advice. He said, make sure you keep a couple of them on your payroll. That's one thing. That's one piece of advice that man told me. He said, keep a couple of them on your payroll. He said, because they will have your back like no other. Now, of course, you got to watch everybody. But this brother said, man, he done kept a lot of them out of jail. He done kept a lot of them out of trouble. He keep them on a payroll, and they willing to take a bullet for that man. They'll die for that man. So he keep a couple of them on the payroll. And that's some advice he gave me. Oh, Zucco, most definitely. Oh, most definitely. And what do I like? And I hate to use the word conscious sometimes, but it's basically people that came across a certain walk of life to where they came into certain pieces of information. That's basically what I mean by conscious. They just aware of certain pieces of information that the masses may not be hip to. So I get a lot, because basically when it comes to that, you dealing with ego a lot of the time. You dealing with ego. So when I'm trying to build with another like another so-called conscious brother or another aware brother, then it's like ego. Everybody want to be at the top, and it ain't even really about that. Everybody want to be heard because they feel like what they have to say is right. So it's like you dealing with ego a lot when you deal with a lot of the conscious brothers. When you deal with a lot of brothers from the streets, man, that surprisingly, that ego is not there most of the time, man. They really willing to listen. Now, like I said, they not just going to change off the strength. If you show them a Farrakhan speech one time, then they rock with it, and then you expect them to change overnight. That's not going to happen. But a lot of those brothers, man, like I said, man, they know what they doing is destructive. They don't even like what they doing, but like I said, they feel forced into it. They feel like they grew up in it, their parents was in it, whatever the case may be, and they feel like they have no other options because that's what society has brainwashed them into believing. So you really got to stay committed to teaching them the other way. Oh, Dominique, I'm gonna definitely check that out. But another thing too with the street dudes, and this is why I can resonate with a lot of them, because like I said, I mean, I'm not saying I was a street dude, but I grew up around them. So I'm able to communicate with them. I'm able to speak their language. I listen to the music that they listen to. Like I'm able to like have a nice dialogue with them, man, because they can kind of relate to me. We can vibe, we can mesh. What be happening is you can't just go bring a Farrakhan or a dude that's a millionaire and try to bring them and talk to these street dudes, man. They gonna be looking at this dude like, man, what you good. So it take people like myself, like y'all, like we the ones that gotta reach the dudes on the streets. These high profile people, like they can't reach them cats, man. They can't reach these dudes on the streets. They need a brother that they can really relate to. Like that's out here grinding, that ain't necessarily reached that certain status and that certain level yet. That's who's gonna be able to hit them and touch them. Especially when they see you go from zero to millionaire. Like when you show them that process. Hence why a lot of people, even though Nip still got did in, but a lot of people that was around Nip, man, he changed a lot of people that was around him because they saw him. They saw him go from gang banging to where he ended up. So they saw that process. So that inspired a lot of people around him. So that's the type of individual that's gonna spark that change. When you around these brothers and they see you go from nothing to something. Plant God, most definitely wicked by circumstance, most definitely. I can definitely see that. Yeah, Dominique, like I said, man, I done had my best conversations with dudes that's out here in the streets. I done had my best conversations with them. And D Monty Magic, I can definitely agree with that. I can definitely agree with that. Like I said, man, these brothers on the streets, they don't get enough credit. Man, like I said, if they actually utilize those same skills in a legal manner, man, these dudes would be mad. Because it take a lot to run out here in these streets. It take a lot, man. Them dudes can deal with money. They can organize. Man, they loyal. Man, like they got man, the work ethic is crazy. The grind, the hustle. The grind and the hustle, like they got all the good qualities that you need in a person. They just doing it in an illegal manner, in a self-destructive manner. If they took those same qualities and they applied them to a legal structure, a legal business, or whatever the case may be, man, them dudes will eat in no time. That's why a lot of them dudes that come from that background, they succeed. They succeed, man. If y'all notice, man, that those gonna be some of your most successful people. These dudes that come from that type of background. That grind is there, man. Like that grind, that hunger. Like they don't want to go back to that lifestyle, man. So that ambition is there, it's strong, it's powerful. They know that if they don't succeed in what they doing, then they're gonna have to go back to selling that dope. They're gonna have to go back to gang banging. They're gonna have to go back to killing their own kind and stuff like that. They don't want to go back to that, man. So that hunger is there. That hunger is powerful. So when you show them another way and they start eating legally another way, they gonna like that, man. Because most of the times, man, they got kids and they want to be here for their kids, man. Don't nobody want to die and be away from their kids like that, man. Leaving that child fatherless. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. So if you can show them another way and they start eating another way, man, they gonna be dedicated to that way, and they gonna grind like no other. All right, D Monty Magic, you talking about people who didn't grow up in the streets, and you said there's also people who hungry who didn't do dirt but don't have the mind. Say that's the worst. And yeah, in a sense, that can definitely be way worse. That can definitely be way worse. And then one thing too about that too, as like a parent dealing with children, one thing that you have to strive to do, or at least try to do. I know at times we want to say I want to give my child the life I never had or the life I wish I had, but you gotta you gotta be cautious there. You don't want to spoil that child. You don't want to try to shelter that child from reality, because that's not gonna happen. For one, that's unrealistic, and for two, that's gonna end up harming that child. If you know the story about the original Buddha, the Buddha that everybody worships, that's pretty much what happened. As a child, the parents of the Buddha that we all know, the Buddha that they worship, the parents of the Buddha, they tried to shelter him from the wickedness of like life. So they tried to shelter him. But once he was exposed to the outside world and how wicked it was and all the suffering that goes on, that's what created the Buddha. So at the end of the day, man, like expose them to that real life. Don't try to shelter them. That real life is gonna make them stronger. That real life is gonna build that character, it's gonna build strength. So a lot of times we try to shelter them from certain things. Nah, expose them to certain things, man. Expose them to, because they gonna get exposed to it one way or another. Whether it's by you or whether it's by another child, whether it's by another child's parent, whether it's by the streets, whatever the case may be. So you don't necessarily have to overly shelter them and try to protect them from things that they're gonna be exposed to anyway. It's about explanation, being able to explain what's happening, why they seeing what they're seeing. That's our job as parents, as adults, to be able to communicate the message to that child, the proper message to that child. And that's where we tend to fail, man. We not able to communicate certain things to that child. So we try to shelter them from that reality. Then they get exposed to it. And then they like, wait a minute, what's this? And then somebody else is now controlling your child, whether it be the media, whether it be, like I said, the TV, the radio, the school system, another child, an elder in the streets, whoever it is. Now they controlling your child because you didn't expose them to something. They got exposed to something. Now they intrigued. So now they listening to the person who exposed them to it. So you don't necessarily have to shelter that child, man. Expose them to life. Expose them to the ups and downs. Because what's going to happen when you spoil them, when you overly spoil them and you shelter them, you create a dependent child. You weakening that child. I'll fall forward to success, man. You got it. Sorry to hear about your pops, man, but you definitely got it. You definitely got it. You got it. Hey, it starts with you. It starts with you. So you didn't realize that, man. So you breaking the chain, you breaking the cycle. It starts with you. And that it all starts with us. Those of us that realize this truth. Those of us that realize the actual facts. It starts with us. We got to break the cycles. We got to break the cycle. Like on my end, I got to break the cycle of disease, the cycle of unhealthy people. Like, I got to break that cycle. We got too many destructive habits in regards to our dietary habits. So I got to break that chain. I got to break that cycle. We can no longer continue to pass down those bad habits to these children and then wonder why they getting bigger. They getting bigger at younger ages. Because look at the type of habits you passing down to this child. Look at the type of habits that child is experiencing, is witnessing. Man, these children are not dumb. They see what you're doing. They see the way that you eat. Like, they pay attention. They soaking that all in. They are a sponge. They are absorbing your habits, and it's becoming a part of them. As they say, the apple don't fall too far from the tree, so you got to watch what you do around these children. Oh, playing God, man, we got a lot of generational curses we got to break. On the black end, we got to break. We definitely got to break the curse of disease, of just bad health. And then just when it comes to just wealth, generational wealth, as black people, we got to do a lot better in regards to setting our children up for the future. That's something that's righteous. And that's one of the cycles that I'm definitely striving to break. We got to stop giving these corporations 30, 40 years and we have nothing of value to really pass down to our children, man. We got to start leaving businesses, property behind for these children. That's what we got to start doing. Because what happens is, yeah, you can work a decent job for 30, 40 years and you can get all these type of policies and leave a bunch of money to your child. That's cool. True indeed. But guess what? That child gonna take that money and they gonna be irresponsible with that money, especially if you haven't educated them on financial literacy. So what good did that really do? So you work this job for this corporation, you made this corporation rich, you got all the policies that you're supposed to have, and you left your child after you didn't pass, you left them $250,000. They take this $250,000, they give it right back to the enemy. And they have nothing to show for it. So we gotta understand what wealth is and how to build wealth. Leave them some land, man. Leave them some property. Leave them some businesses, man. Some things of value, some things that's gonna always generate income for them. You just leave them that money, guarantee you that money gonna be gone, and they ain't gonna have anything to show for it but a bunch of material items, things that's gonna lose value. How do I know? I've seen it. Master 2, Hellraiser, you ain't talking about the rapper, are you? Oh, Jamar, most definitely. Like I said, man, I can get a street. Listen, the street dudes are more intrigued. They more intrigued. And like I said, man, we ain't gonna never let our guards down with anybody. We ain't gonna never let our guards down with anybody. That's something we not gonna do. But like I said, man, the street dudes, they are willing to listen, man. I have great dialogues with them, but it's just repetition. That street dude ain't gonna change overnight, just like you ain't gonna change overnight. So it's repetition, man. A lot of these street dudes, they don't have that person that's constantly or consistently in their ear telling them, hey, man, what you're doing is wrong. It's another way. And another thing you got to stop doing, too, is just solely condemning the street people. They already know that the lifestyle they live in is destructive. They don't need for you to continue to tell them that. They need for you to show them another path. So, again, just condemning the street folks, that's doing no good. That's like being Captain Obvious. They already know what they're doing is bad. They already know what they're doing is destructive. But they feel like they got to do this to survive and feed their family. You just got to show them another way. So that's my approach. I'm not about to condemn these brothers in the street, say, man, what y'all doing is wicked, it's savage, it's this, that, and the third. No, I'm going to just continue to show them another way. Hence, I started doing things like get my gym and just start my own business. So they seeing that. So a lot of street dudes then inquired about what I've done, the moves that I'm making. That's how you got to hit them. Master 2, I'm going to definitely check him out. Therapeutic Game, Peace, what's going on with you? Yeah, D Monty Magic, you can't get people to understand that in regards to purchasing, leaving them the stock and purchasing the stock. Financial literacy, man, that's one thing that we got to focus on a lot more, just as black people. We got to focus on that financial literacy a lot more, man. Working in the bank, I realized how bad this was. Like, I didn't know it was that bad in regards to our financial literacy, man, until I started working at a bank and I started seeing it firsthand. So that financial literacy is at an all-time low in the black community, man. It's just basic things that we don't understand. I remember I had a person, they came into the bank, and I don't know if you all are familiar with what a CD is, but somebody that told this person a CD is equivalent to basically investing in the stock market, and they thought that if they just put their money in the CD, then their money would double, it would triple, it would quadruple in a matter of months. I said, man, a CD, you not about to gain any type of money from a CD at all. Like, it's pointless to lock your money into that CD unless you just need to put away some money and not deal with it and then pull it out in a certain time period. Other than that, I'm like, man, a CD is pointless. You not about to, you might got, depending on how much you put in that joint, you might see about $10, $20 after it expires. After it matures. So when I was in the bank, man, and I was just seeing things that certain people thought, I'm like, man, that's crazy. White people weren't coming into the bank saying things like that. They weren't coming into the bank asking me if I put my money in this CD, is my money gonna triple? Is it gonna quadruple in 2-3 months? Because that's what somebody told me. Like, we gotta stop being so naive and gullible. Like, no. I'm like, nah, CD ain't really nothing. You definitely don't want to put your money in this CD. But somebody told her that, man, she swallowed it up, she believed it, and she came into the bank and she spit it out as if it was an actual fact, as if it was something that would really happen. So I'm like, man, who lied to you and who told you that? So that's why financial literacy is crazy. Financial literacy is crazy, and we got to focus more on that. Like I said, that goes with just being righteous, man. Just by nature, we that righteous people. We not poor by nature. Like, we don't need to be, we not supposed to be impoverished. Being in poverty is not our destiny. We don't come from that type of lineage to where we should embrace being in poverty. Nah, we should embrace building wealth, leaving that wealth behind. That's the bloodline that we come from. We come from a wealthy bloodline, a righteous bloodline, a powerful bloodline. So we deserve that wealth just like the next man, just like the next woman. But they done created all these type of theories and these sayings to make us think that generating the wealth is something that's evil. So they got a lot of people afraid to amass a certain amount of wealth. Y'all know what I'm talking about. They didn't instill fear in us in regards to generating wealth because we think something that we think is evil and wicked to have wealth. We think that that's literally something that's evil and wicked. And they didn't use some holy books in order to convey that point. They didn't use holy books in order to convey that message to our people. It's nothing evil and wicked about going out here getting your money and transferring that over to wealth, acquiring assets. It's nothing wicked about that. There's nothing savage about it. Plant God, the richest man in Babylon. That's one of the first rules in that book. Pay yourself first. Everybody else gonna get theirs. Pay yourself first. I remember I read that, man. I was like, man, that's crazy. It's common sense, but we don't do it. The first thing we may tend to do when we get that money is start paying bills. And then we left with nothing. Nah, pay yourself first, man. They gonna get their money. They gonna get their money. Everybody else gonna get their money. Oh yeah, Dominique, most definitely, man. Like, them white people, man, they was moving totally different. That's when like I said, that's when I started learning about the life insurance policies. I got me one. The little money market accounts. The money market accounts way better than CDs and then your average savings account. Like putting your money in the bank, depending on how you do it, man, can be pointless if you're trying to generate interest on your money, depending on the type of account that you may have. But like a regular savings account, pointless if you're trying to generate interest on your money. Pointless. A regular savings account is just trash. You might as well just put it in a checking account. It's trash for the most part. CDs are trash for the most part, man. But like money market accounts, those are some decent accounts if you're trying to generate interest on your money. But for the most part, I'm dealing purely with investing, like dividend investing. That's something that we really don't know about. We really don't know about the dividend investing, man, but that's something that's crucial. Yeah, index funds are also cool. And a lot of people are getting hip to like Forex and things of that nature. That's not my forte. I'm more into dividend investing because I'm more comfortable with that. So that's what I stick to. So I invest in companies that I know will be around. And then if I'm looking into the future, then I invest in those companies. But I like to invest in companies that offer dividends, man. That's easy passive income. That's easy passive income. Yeah, Master Tube, yeah, business credit. I knew I had elementary knowledge on it, but then when I started my own business, like I'm definitely have learned a lot more about it. But it's a lot of different approaches. It's a lot of different approaches one can take towards like wealth, amassing wealth. It's a lot of different approaches, a lot of different avenues. You just got to pick one that you're comfortable with. Like the advice I got with investing, it told me to just pick a form of investing or a type of investing that you are comfortable with and stick to it. So basically, if dividend investing is my thing, I don't need to learn about real estate investing. I don't need to learn about Forex. No, stick to one. Stick to one type of investing, master that, and then roll with that joint. So I recommend that with everything. We be trying to do way too much. We trying to do way too much. Plant God mode, man. I got several LLCs. Y'all already know when I learned the game about business, because y'all know I went to school for business. My degrees are in business. So I knew this type of stuff a while back, man. Just all the tax benefits that you get when you have an LLC. So I definitely got an LLC. I got several of them. I got several LLCs. I got an LLC for, of course, the fitness stuff that I do, and I got a publishing company. So when I release my books, that's an LLC for that. So I'm all hip to the LLC game, to the business game, to the write-offs. So like I said, the tax laws, they benefit entrepreneurs, business owners, and investors. So I'm always encouraging people to set up their LLC, to start a business or to invest, man, because the tax laws, they're gonna benefit you. Because you gotta think about the people that are writing these laws. The people that are writing these laws are the wealthy people. So they're not gonna write these laws to go against their way of life. They're gonna write these laws to benefit them. Oh yeah, Master Tube, I'm already knowing. About the business trust, I'm already knowing. Yeah, Terenzo, we definitely need a universal flag that we can agree upon. And D Monty Magic, that's another thing. They call that stuff slow money. But yet we working these 9 to 5s and basically we just making enough to pay our bills and then we broke. That's slow money to me. That's slow money to me. So if I'm going to embrace this 9 to 5 lifestyle, which is slow money, then I might as well go ahead and add to it by investing in the stock market and getting the dividends from it. So that's interesting when people bring that up. So I say, what's that 9 to 5 money? That 9 to 5 money ain't fast money. That's just money to pay your bills. After you pay those bills, what do you have? You still complaining about your lack of money, your lack of funds. So why not just take a little bit of that and just invest it? And you do that over 20, 30 years, then you're going to start getting those dividend checks every quarter, and then you're going to say, oh, okay, now I get it. Now I get it. Yeah, D-Monty Magic, yeah, you say give me $200 and I turn that $200 into $700, they all for it. And then they end up getting pimped for their money. Yeah, you know how we deal with the microwave generation. We deal with the microwave generation. We know how that go. Y'all know I know how that goes from being in the fitness space, man. Everybody, they don't want to put in the work to get the results. They want to go get surgery. Like that, this is the type of generation that we deal with, man. People don't want to put in the work. People don't have patience. Like, you gotta have patience, man. A lot of this stuff ain't gonna happen overnight. It's over time. Therapeutic gaming, man. The stock market crazy. Stock market crazy. I done put a lot of people on, man, on the stock market, man. Just TD Ameritrade, open your account, just get going. Like, and then I tell people all the time, it's not complicated. Just invest in what you know. We buying stuff all the time. Just invest in some of these brands that you are investing in. We going to the store, we supporting all these other brands by buying their product. Man, just go buy you some shares of that particular company. Like you said, we buying Jordans, you buying Nike. Man, buy you some Nike stocks, some Nike shares, man. It's really that simple. They make investing something complicated. I'm like, man, it's really not that hard. You open up the account, you can start investing in within 2 or 3 days. And invest in what they say. I don't know what I'm going to invest in. Like, man, who you got your cable through? AT&T. Man, just buy you some AT&T shares. Who your phone with? Verizon. Just go buy you some Verizon shares. Like, it's really just that simple. You got on Nikes right now. Buy some Nike shares. You just went to the gas station. You went to Exxon. Buy you some Exxon shares. Like, it's not that hard. It's really not that hard. Oh, you just purchased something off Amazon. Buy some Amazon shares. Like, it's really just that simple, man. It's not that hard to think of companies to invest in. Oh, D-Monty Magic, don't get me started on the surgery aspect of it. For the most part, that surgery is destructive because basically the surgery that a lot of people are getting right now is actually tampering with their appetite. So not only do you got to work out after the surgery because now you got that skinny fat, but now your appetite has been tampered with. So now it's hard for you to eat the way that you need to eat in order for you to build that muscle. So now that's just not a good approach to take. Like, if you thinking about that surgery, like, I would suggest you not get that because it messes you up on so many different levels. Yeah, Plant God, most definitely. Like I've always said, we got to stop being consumers and be producers. We gotta be producers. We gotta be creators. We gotta be innovators. Those are the people that generate the wealth, or investors. Like, that's what we gotta be. That's what we gotta be, and we all got the ability to be and do that. We all have the ability to be and do that. And then even when we spend, like I said, we spend the money within the wrong communities, in the wrong businesses. We don't spend the money amongst each other. Like, that's another thing that we do. McAllen, peace, what's going on with you? Yeah, D-Monty Magic, we already know they still in the organs. We already know how that go. Yeah, we already know how that go. They loving that. That's why they encouraging people to get that surgery, especially black people. So we already know what's going on behind that. Playing God, man. The Asians and the Arabs, where I'm at, when I worked at a bank, man, we dealt a lot with the Arabs. We dealt a lot with them because they own, y'all guessed it, the beauty supply stores that were around that area. And man, I couldn't stand them. Listen, I couldn't stand them, yo. I just couldn't stand the way that because they knew what they were doing, and they know what they are doing. Like they were just so cocky in regards to them just knowing that they capitalizing off the black community. They just knowing that our sisters gonna continue to go in their beauty supply stores and give them all this money. So they was just too cocky for me, man. I didn't get along with them. I wasn't a fan of that. I wasn't a fan of it, man. They showed their true colors to me a few times, man, in regards to just how they viewed us, definitely how they viewed our women. And I couldn't have that. I couldn't have it. And D-Monty Magic, most definitely. And like I said, I feel like we should start that with just acknowledging the popular black figures, acknowledging their born days and just making that a holiday. And the stipulation should be you don't go into that white job, that plantation, you don't go into there for that day, and then you buy black that day. So I feel like that'll be a great stipulation, and I feel like that'll be a great starting point. So we need to substitute all these holidays because, again, these holidays, they just making who rich. So people about to go out here and spend all this money to buy these Christmas gifts. Some people have already bought the Christmas gifts. Who is that helping? Who is that benefiting? It's making us poor. It's making them richer. And this happens every holiday. Halloween, we just went out and bought all this candy. Who did that benefit? Who did that hurt? It benefit them, hurt us. Thanksgiving, we finna go out here and buy all this food that's not necessarily good for us. Who is that benefiting? Who is that hurt? Even smaller days like Valentine's Day. Again, who is that benefiting? Who is that hurt? 4th of July, we don't even need to build on that. We already know that black people shouldn't be celebrating that joint. But just think about all these holidays, man. Who are they really benefiting? Who are they really harming? Who are they really hurting? Kyrie, peace, what's going on with you? Jamar, and I tell people that all the time, man. When I read my first book on dividend investing, I was actually upset. And the reason why I was upset, I was like, man, this cannot be this simple. I said investing can really not be this simple. When I read that book on dividend investing, I think the book is called Dividend Investing Made Simple, something like that. But when I read that book, man, it was like an 80-page book. When I closed that book, I was like, man, it cannot be this easy. So then I followed the steps in that book. I got on TD Ameritrade. I opened up my account. They verified my account. I transferred money in the account. And I started buying shares that in about 2 days. So I said, wow, that's crazy. This stuff is really not rocket science. So I was upset that whole time. I said, man, something this simple. Why are more of my people not doing this? Because this is really simple. Investing is really simple. Now, in regards to just making money off of it, it's going to take time. It's going to take experimentation. So you may take some L's, you may take some losses. That's to be expected. But I like to be in it for the long term. So with that, the L's, you're not worried about them. You just riding that wave. Now, if you buying and trading, that's a whole different method, a whole different approach you're going to have to take. But either way, just starting off and investing is nowhere near complicated. Oh, McAllen, listen, when you start learning about it, you're going to realize what we're talking about. Like I said, man, it's not complicated at all. It's crazy. Plant God, behold a pale horse. Dominique, in short, that's basically letting you know about the corruption in regards to this entire system, like the government. It's just letting you know, it's like basically letting you know how they move. Yeah, Jamar, most definitely. Like Black Friday. Again, they gonna benefit more than we gonna benefit. We think we benefiting by buying these material items. that lose value the moment we walk out the store with it. Matter of fact, the moment we take it off the shelf, it has lost its value. So we think we benefiting because we accumulating all these material products. No, they benefit. They benefit. They benefit. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have things that we enjoy in life, man, but you gotta balance that out. You gotta balance that out. You gotta balance it out, man. You gotta learn how to balance it out. Yeah, you can get the finer things in life if you want them, but man, balance that thing, balance it out. Have that safety net. If you gonna buy them Nike shoes that cost over $100, make sure you got over $100 worth of Nike stock. So it's really that simple, man. We got to get our people to understand that. A lot of, when it comes to generating wealth, like I said, even with the life insurance policy, man, that's essentially, I mean, that ain't rocket science. All you got to do is figure out what type of policy you want to get it, whether it's whole term, whether it's whole or term life. Figure out which policy works best for you. Then you just paying the monthly premium. That's it. I mean, that's literally it. But a lot of us don't have that. A lot of us don't have that. We got Netflix, we got Hulu Live, we got all these other subscriptions. But then when it comes to getting a life insurance policy, we can't afford to do that. We can't afford to give them $20, $30 a month. But we got all these other subscriptions, but we ain't got a life insurance policy. That don't even make any sense. That don't even make any sense. We paying $100 phone bills, but we can't pay $20, $30 for a life insurance policy. So then when we die, we got our kids out here starting GoFundMes, leaving a cat, posting a status or a post with their Cash App on it because they need donations. They need money in order to bury their mother or their father because we didn't get the life insurance policy. So now we gotta do the GoFundMe. We gotta crowdfund that money. Kyrie, it depends on what the business is. But when it comes to write-offs, man, you just want to make sure you keeping your receipts, document everything. Document everything, man, because like I said, I don't know if you have to travel for your business. I don't know if it's a home-based business. But whatever the case, anything that's pertaining to the business, when you spend money on anything that's pertaining to the business, keep the receipt because you use that as a write-off. And it's a lot of things that you can write off. You can even write off a vacation if you utilize. I think it's about, you got to use 4 hours out of the day. I think it goes, you got to spend half the work day, which is the typical work day is 8 hours. So let's just say y'all planning a trip to, let's just say y'all planning to go to Orlando, Florida or something, and it's a vacation. You can literally use that as a write-off for your business as long as you use like 4 hours of the workday for business purposes, and that's not hard to do. The book that I got that from, the example was, dude was in the real estate, so he was just like, him and his wife would spend 4 hours just looking at properties, and now you able to write off that vacation, you able to write off that trip. And even when you going, like you have business lunch, like that's why a lot of people, when they in business for themselves, they go to lunch. You able to write that lunch off as long as you discussing business. You can even do that with your spouse. You can take your spouse out to eat, and as long as y'all discussing business for a tad bit, you can write that off as a business expense, man. You can write that off, literally. Kyrie Woods, the book I got on that is called Tax-Free Wealth. That is one of the books I got on it, but that's the best book. It's real simple, straight to the point. Oh, plan God, man, most definitely. I tell people all the time, man, in 2020, there's no way you should be comfortable with one stream of income. You need to, my goal, 5 to 7. 5 to 7 consistent streams of income. Yeah, Dominique, most definitely. Most definitely. Can't take nothing with you, so most definitely. And Jamar, and that's what people don't understand. You got to make them sacrifices. You got to spend that money to make money. You got to make the sacrifices. The bigger the risk, the bigger the reward. A lot of times we're not willing to make that sacrifice. Work hard now, I can play later, I can rest later. But we resting now, we done got comfortable and content now. So there will be no rest in the future. It's gonna be working harder as we getting older. That's backwards. So you 70 or 80 and you gotta work hard now because you was doing too much resting. You was getting too comfortable when you should have been working hard, when you had the ability and the energy to work that hard. Kyrie, no doubt. That, and like I said, I got a book on that called The One Thing. I recommend that in every aspect of your life because everything is going to emanate or stem from that one particular thing that you're focusing on. Even investing. And I'm gonna give y'all an example. Let's say my overall focus is just my gym. If I just focus on gym, then again, stuff that's gonna flow from that gym, stuff that's gonna flow from fitness and just motivation, you got YouTube. Then you got you got apparel, you got books. Then even if I invest, the money that I'm going to be generating from all of those endeavors, I can use that to invest. So that's like 4 streams of income that just stem from that one major source. So that's why I tell people all the time to focus on one thing. Focus on that one thing and everything is going to branch off from that. So whatever it is that you're most passionate about, whatever you feel like has the most potential, focus on that. Focus on generating your wealth from that. Then everything is going to flow from that one particular thing that you're focusing on once you master that craft. So you're going to be able to invest all you want to invest. Like I said, it's going to be a bunch of products and services that you're going to be able to offer based off of that one particular thing that you're focusing on. So I recommend that for all people that's striving to go into business for themselves. Focus on that one business idea. Focus on mastering that. Focus on building that. Then everything else is going to flow from that. And that's something that I had to realize. I was trying to do too many things at one time, and they was all different. They wasn't related. And so that just wasn't working. So I had to put 100% of my focus into this fitness, into this motivation, into this speaking, into basically what I'm doing now. So I had to give all my attention to what I'm doing now. 2021, shoot, the rest of 2020 gonna be great for all of us. But 2021, definitely. Yeah, Dominique, and a lot of people don't understand how to work hard and work smart at the same time. Keep listening to what I said. Work hard and work smart at the same time. See, we always separate the two. We say, all right, we got to work smarter, not harder. No, it's a way to do both. It's a way to work harder and smarter. It's all about how you utilize the time that you have. You can work hard. You can work hard for that hour. Let's just say y'all know the book, The 4-Hour Work Week. So let's just say you trying to minimize or lower or decrease the amount of time that you work. So you want to get down to working less. That's working smarter. That's definitely. So if you work 8 hours a day and you're trying to get it down to 4 hours a day, yes, that's working smarter. But within that 4 hours, work hard. So work hard and smart. Kyrie, in 2021, definitely going to be the year for you. And that's the absolution. First off, don't utilize the term hotep to describe anything that I'm doing. You never heard me utilize that terminology. So you can take that nonsense elsewhere. We don't deal with that. You can take that nonsense and you can go apply that somewhere else. We don't necessarily deal with anything of that nature. We don't deal with anything of that nature. But Eric Thomas is somebody who I definitely look up to and I definitely respect the man. But we don't need to put the hotep in front of that. We don't need to disrespect the people that embrace that particular. We don't need to disrespect the people that embrace that particular word in and of itself. So there's no need to utilize that word to slight somebody else. That's nonsense, man. You can take that elsewhere. Like, we dealing with growth, we dealing with evolution, we dealing with elevation on this particular platform and channel. That type of stuff is unnecessary, man. If you feeling some type of way, you need to deal with that internally. Don't bring that to another platform. Like, that's what you need not to do. That's what you need not to do. Oh, D Monty Magic, getting paid from home is easy. I did a lot of studying for that, man. You got affiliate marketing, man. You got YouTube. Man, it just depends. It depends on what avenue you want to take, man. But affiliate marketing is one of the things that I recommend when it comes to making money from home. Affiliate marketing is a good under the radar way to make money from home. So I definitely rock with affiliate marketing. It's a real under the radar way to make that passive money from home. So that's one thing I definitely recommend looking into. When I get home and I do my next video from home, I got a few books on affiliate marketing that I can recommend for you. Oh yeah, plant guy, you gotta put your hours in. You're pushing 4T. I'm not gonna agree with that and say it's not much of a difference. The difference is, again, the business that you are building for yourself. For one, you gotta look at it from the potential aspect of it. Of course, we putting in the hours now. Like as a trainer, obviously, I'm gonna be putting in more hours now. But I'm thinking long term. Once this expands, then I'm gonna put less hours in. I'm not gonna be working in the business, I'm gonna work on the business. And then once I own that business, it's something that I can pass down. So it's not about, when we value in business owners and ownership opposed to working for somebody else, it ain't about putting less hours in. I'm putting in the 12 hours, but I'm enjoying what I'm doing. And then it's gonna have my name attached to it in regards to me owning it. So I'm able to pass that down. So when we go into business for ourselves and we become entrepreneurs, we not looking at it in the light that I'm about to work less. Yeah, I may have to put in 12, 13, 14 hours, but I'm enjoying what I'm doing. And then once I commit myself enough to that, then this is going to grow to the point where I'm going to be able, like I said, to work on the business, not in the business. Then I'm going to hire people to do exactly what it is that I'm doing. When you're working for these corporations, you don't necessarily have that ability, and you don't control a lot. You're not able to make the rules. And again, the only way that you're gonna fire yourself when you're working for yourself is if you're not hungry enough to go get the clientele that you need. You working for another corporation, man, it don't take much for them to come up with some lame excuse in regards to why you fired, in regards to why you laid off. Then when it's a pandemic like this, then you basically are helpless. Like this pandemic hits me, all I got to do is adapt and adjust my business model, which I already have that in mind. But if I was working for somebody else and then the only other option that I had was to go work for somebody else, then I'd be screwed because the job market is trash, man. It's a lot of places that shut down. So it's a lot of opportunities that left with this whole pandemic, with this whole crisis. And then for the most part, these jobs that are available, they not starting you off at nothing because it's a lot of competition out here. So they able to find somebody to do exactly what it is that you striving to do for a lower price. So no, it's a big difference between working for yourself and working for somebody else for the same hours a day. It's a big difference. It's a very big difference to me. Now again, that ain't knocking a person that's working 12 hours somebody else, but it is a difference. The people that own the company that you're working for, they gonna let you know it's a difference. Hence why they not striving to do that. So they gonna let you know once you get to that certain level in regards to your business model, but you gotta have this mapped out. A lot of people that you're talking about are self-employed and they don't have this vision laid out. You're not supposed to be putting in those long hours like 10, 15, 20 years from now. You're supposed to have your 5-10 year plan. And part of your plan should be to expand, to work less hours in your business and focus more on working on the business. So that's always the plan. That's always the objective. But a lot of black people definitely don't have that objective. So they just become self-employed. Self-employed is not what you should aspire to become. You need to become that entrepreneur. You need to become that investor. So we just become self-employed. The barber that you're talking about, even what I'm doing now, is just self-employed. But once my gym expands and it becomes like a gym chain, now I'm becoming an entrepreneur. But I had to start somewhere, so I'm starting from that level of being self-employed. So it's a difference, man. They didn't lay down the differences from the entrepreneur, from the self-employed, from the employee, from the investor. So it's a lot of differences. Oh, McAllen, one thing that I would recommend to become business savvy, like I said, that's one thing I went to school for. So I had to study it anyway for my particular degree. But I just recommend, man, just always just diving into business books. And then YouTube is also a good source, man. Just watching a lot of business minded people. So those are the two things that I did, man. I just read a lot of business books. My 2 degrees are management and marketing, so I read a lot of marketing. That's another key aspect. I recommend studying marketing. If you're gonna go into business for yourself and you're not well versed on marketing, you will fail. Your business will fail. So I definitely recommend studying marketing. You have got to be well versed in marketing, especially when you are just starting out, because you're not gonna be able to afford to pay anyone. So marketing is key. That's why I'm kind of glad my degree, like I talk bad about school a lot, but one thing I did pay attention to is when I was in my marketing classes, I paid attention to a lot of the slick tactics that they utilize. So marketing is crucial, man, because you're gonna have to have the clientele. You're gonna have to have the traffic. So clientele like that marketing is crucial. Sir Charles, man, I may give another verse, man, probably my next video or so. I definitely got a lot of those. Absolution, the most profitable business. I would say it pretty much depends, man. But you can't go wrong with getting into like IT, the tech fields. So anything that's tech related, man, you can't go like learning how to code and stuff like that. You can't go wrong with that. You can't go wrong with that. And then another business that's pretty good is accounting. So if you can learn an accounting and get some qualifications or credentials for accounting, that's big. But IT fields, man, you can get certifications and whatnot that are kind of inexpensive. So I say IT like tech fields are some of the best fields to get into. Dominique, most definitely. You already know I know about that when I was working in the bank. And pretty much the only reason that I got the bank jobs that I got is because, for one, the people that hired me were black. So the managers were black. They were on the black side of town. The second bank where I worked at was in like the roughest part of the city where I lived at. I'm talking about the roughest part. And that's where I was banking at for about a year. So I ain't been there, done that, man. We got the banks where I was at, I got robbed twice. So I'd have been there, done that. So I wasn't finna die for corporate America, man. I wasn't about to die for corporate America. It wasn't happening. So that was my sign. That was like my omen to get out the game. I done been at the bank. I got robbed twice at a bank. It wasn't finna happen. It wasn't finna go down like that. So third time is a charm. So I wasn't about to give them a third time to do that. Cause you in a bank, so you're not able to have anything on you. So you defenseless and you powerless. I didn't like that. I'm in my own establishment. I can be like the Arabs, man. I can have some things on me, so somebody come in here, then it'll be a problem. But at the bank, working for these corporations, man, I was just defenseless, man. Dude could have took us all out, and I wouldn't have been able to do nothing about it. Yeah, you're pushing it, most definitely. A lot of people don't understand those differences. So a lot of times the people that's bragging about being entrepreneurs, they're really just self-employed. So right now, like that's basically what I am right now in regards to my gym. I'm just self-employed. That's not what I'm aspiring to be. That's not what I'm aspiring to be at all. It's too much work. So I'm always striving to minimize the amount of time that I have to spend doing things to generate the money, because you never want to be trading your time for money. That's one thing wealthy people tell you. Never trade your time for money. That's one of the keys to building wealth. So right now I'm trading my time for money, obviously. So I'm striving to get out of that, and that's my objective. So right now I'm on a self-employed level. So I'm striving to reach entrepreneur. I already got some like investments out there, so I'm on that, but I'm striving to go from self-employed to entrepreneur. And that's basically when I will expand my gym chain or start hiring other trainers to do what I'm doing, so I won't have to do all the training. So that's when I reach the level of entrepreneur. Max Array, I'm all about since I deal with like evolution, so I'm always a proponent of growth. So that would be more of my mindset. That would be more of my mindset. Being able to adapt and adjust, just growing, evolving, transcending. That's one of the ways I feel like you reach that next level in regards to like your business. Even in regards to just life in general. That's the way to basically reach that next level. You gotta transcend. You gotta evolve. Yeah, Dominique, we definitely not about to reach 80 and we about to be working at Walmart or something like that, going crazy, about to die out there, man. Like, that ain't happening. That ain't happening. I'm gonna let you know right now, like out the gate, that's not happening. Yeah, McAllen, see, that's that cybersecurity. I was actually, if I wouldn't have been doing what I'm doing now, like I was gonna take that. I was gonna start doing that type of stuff, man. I was looking into cybersecurity, like literally, I was looking into that. Yeah, McAllen, most definitely. My whole thing, my end goal, like you said, is to own property, man. Get me some land, start growing my own food, things like that. But in order to get that, you got to use that passion, you got to use that interest, you got to use that skill. So I'm utilizing my skill in regards to being able to train people to get to that level. But man, y'all know what it is, man. I gotta tap out of this joint before my phone ends up dying, man. So this is another good dialogue, another great stream, man. I may or may not go live tomorrow, probably not, man. So I gotta get ready to go down south. Gotta go to Mississippi and build with my people. I'm gonna be down there for a few days, so I'm not gonna be live for probably until next Monday. So y'all got enough things that y'all can go binge watch, man, get some jewels, man, enjoy the discussion, whatever the case may be. But I'm gonna probably be off of here until next Monday. So I gotta go down to Mississippi, experience that country living, man. So it's always peace, man, to interact with y'all. That's why I went live like 6 or 7 days straight. I don't know how long, I don't know how many days I went straight, but that's why I tried to do that. So I wanted to keep giving y'all the motivation, the inspiration, the knowledge, whatever it is that y'all take away from this channel. I wanted to give y'all that for 6 or 7 days before I went ghost. I ain't want to just go ghost on y'all like that. But I got to go head down to Mississippi. Y'all know I'm in St. Louis, so it's about an 8.5, 9-hour drive. We going to be heading out that way Wednesday. Heck, if you around that area, holler at your boy. But I'm going to catch you all next Monday, man. And we gonna start diving into some heavier topics because I feel like it's about that time. So we about to start diving into a lot of heavier topics when it comes to like especially eating, nutrition, things like that, just fitness in general. So it's a lot of things, man, that y'all may have thought was correct or incorrect in regards to that particular field and that particular space. And we're going to start diving into like more deep philosophical content, just metaphysical type content. I know y'all fool with that. I know y'all rock with that type of information as well. So we're going to start diving a little bit deeper. That's going to happen on next Monday. So I'm going to catch y'all, man. Y'all enjoy this week. Y'all stay peaceful, like I said. Don't overindulge. Forget all that Thanksgiving, man. Eat you some vegetables. Don't eat no turkey. Don't eat no meat. Stay away from that dairy. Don't let that holiday get you off track. I'm out, y'all, man. Y'all enjoy the week, man. Y'all be peaceful. Y'all be easy out here, y'all. Peace.